Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Humaniac. Dude, what's going on, man?
All good, all good.
You guys are live right now on the Zach Moonshine show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. We just got done blasting one of your new tracks, Zucker Bryn Firewall, dude. And that was fucking badass, man. What the fuck?
Thank you for inviting us. Yeah, pretty cool track, especially love the last solo on the track.
Hell yeah. So tell us, man, I know you guys are in Russia right now, right?
Me, it's Alexei Kotov. I'm now in Singapore. My brother, Vadim Kotov, he's now in Moscow, yeah.
Oh, fuck, man. What time is it over there right now?
Singapore, it's 11 a.m. And for Moscow, it's 6 a.m.
Holy shit, man. Early in the morning, huh?
Yeah, very, very early.
So it's actually Saturday to you guys, man. We're talking to you guys from the future.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, you guys are fucking slamming the fucking tunes out, man. Can you tell us a little bit, a brief history about the band? Like, how did you guys get started, and how did you get to this point, man?
I can say that it all started a lot of years ago. Maybe the first EP released in 2010 was called Find the Reality, but prior to that we actually had a couple of attempts to make a band, but it's not very successful. Basically, when I was in high school, we had two brothers, so Vadim, we both compose. Vadim takes care of drums, composing and lyrics. I play guitar, also compose and record all this stuff. During the previous 3 albums, like EP and then 2 albums, I also used to record vocals, but now I do not. During like all these years, there were many transformations. I don't think so that we have ever had full membership, not full membership, like all members of bands in place, because from the very beginning we had very complex and technical music, and it was very difficult to find someone who will be ready to spend a lot of time and efforts in trying to learn how to play it, or someone who has those skills. So I think for 4 or 5 years we used drum machine. Then eventually tried to find someone to hire someone, but there are also some funny stories when people, like professional musicians, that say, yeah, I can play everything, I don't care, but just pay me for the show. Well, actually, it was okay for us this very end, but when you sent us for them, they declined our offer, or said that, our price is double or 3 times. Then eventually, I think we started to perform in 2014 using, or maybe a bit earlier, using drum machine, and sometimes without bass player. Recorded 1 new album, and then eventually released. This album, most of the music was composed a couple of years before, so I think the earliest song was composed in 2015 or 16, and it took about 6 years for it to be recorded. But now we're on this stage. Now it's full internet project. So hopefully, maybe one day in the future we'll be able to perform once again.
So you and the drummer are brothers. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we're brothers.
That's fucking badass, man. So it's like, I mean, there's a lot of really good bands out there in history, that we know about that have that relationship. I mean, Pantera, fucking Van Halen, Sepultura.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
That's cool, man. What's that like, jamming with a sibling like that? Like, I mean, do you guys have that kind of Is it like what everybody says, like where you have that connection?
Mm, I think that we have very different approaches towards composing music,
And
and
similar at the same
we
time.
are. Oh, I think Vadim is online, so probably I'll
Yes.
tell a
Sorry
bit
for the
about
delay.
mine, and then he will. Hey, I'll tell about mine, then Vadim will uh, explain his. I think this is the biggest point of all fights. I usually, like, you nurse the idea for a couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to write to compose a full song with like all instruments in 1 or 2 days. And for me, big concept of funk is more important, but maybe not pointing too much attention to small details. And Vadim has like briefly a very different approach. So he spends every day, I think, like 30 or 40 minutes composing music. So that's why it takes that long. And this is the biggest clash I think we have in terms of process, how we do it.
Yes, but a lot of people, they cannot distinguish the songs written by me and Alexei. So maybe we have a different approach in the writing process, but the results are similar. I think that our music, our albums sound quite solid, and there is no big difference between songs.
Yeah, well, you guys definitely have a very the production also of the recording is really, really, really good. Can you tell us about some of the equipment that you guys are using? Give us a rig rundown of like what you're using. You know, guitars and amps and drums and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So actually, all string instruments were recorded by me, and my equipment is very simple. It's Focusrite Scarlett second or third generation sound card and a MacBook Pro and Logic. So that's it. I use guitar Ibanez 8 string, that model, famous model RG2228.
Nice.
Yeah, it was all recorded in home studio. Took a while. So actually, in terms of process, I usually record the clean, and then we set it to sound engineer, and he works with the sound.
Just ramped it.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. Well, it sounds fucking amazing, man. How cool is that? You know, that people all around the world nowadays, with technology and everything, we can do this kind of stuff. You know, like you guys can do that, make this music and get it out there, and here you are talking to me. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very actually that people have the access to technologies and can record whenever they want, but at the same time it's also a big problem because now internet is overwhelmed by a lot of music. Just to mention the even metal, if you're subscribed to any Instagram page or you use any link when you follow any blog, you will see that there are like thousands of albums coming every day. It's physically impossible to listen to all of them. That's why. Really. That's why, like, even if you have brilliant music, the possibility that someone will hear it is that low because all people have access. Population's growing, and you're just lost in that avalanche.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, there is so many bands coming out all the time, constantly putting out new music. I mean, my inbox and my email every day is like 100, 200 fucking bands, fucking new stuff that they're sending to me, and I can't listen to every single thing, but I do look at it, and it's a lot of times it's either the name or the artwork or something like that that'll catch my attention and make me actually sit down and stop and really listen to it. But I mean, a lot of that, I mean, I guess that also comes into with promotion and marketing. You know, like you gotta. That's why we do what we do. You know, try to push it out there and get it in front of people. But I mean, yeah, it's just it's nonstop.
Yeah, it's don't stop it. You're really physically. Even I understand now that sometimes, like you listen to music that you love, for example, for like 50 or 60%, and then you want to listen to something new. But when you start to choose something, you understand that like the variety is that big that actually spend more time choosing a band to listen or a movie to watch than actually listen to music or watch it, because you can make a decision, can make your choice.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, like what kind of stuff are you guys listening to? Like what's in your what's in your playlists right now? Like what kind of stuff?
Right now, I think that 60% of music I listen to is metal, like black or technical death, like all bands we all know. Speaking about black, Mayhem, Abigail Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, technical death metal, technical death, Lord Expire, Shadow of Intent, First Fragment, Beyond Creation. Some classical metal, like Megadeth or Metallica. And at the same time, I listen a lot to electronic music, starting from electronic hardcore or trance to drone and ambient. Dark jazz also.
I also listen to classical music. I mean, Tchaikovsky, Schubert, stuff like that. And of course, a lot of extreme metal. Now, technical bass, black too. Sometimes post rock.
Hell yeah. Now, as far as your influences and stuff, like what got you into music when you were kids? When you were first starting out, like what were some of the first bands that you listened to that really made you decide that you wanted to be a musician?
I think that I let Alexei into music. I listened to bands like Limp Bizkit or Slipknot in the 90s, and as Alexei followed my musical tastes, then we began to listen to something heavier like Slayer or Cradle Field, Children of Bodom, something like that. But it started all with quite non-metal music. I mean, no, of course I like Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, and so, but I think mostly people begin with bands like Iron Maiden or Kiss, something like that. But we started with mostly new metal or punk bands.
Dude, this funny story. I remember that a classmate of Vadim brought two CDs, one of Children of Bodom and another one for Cradle of Fields, and then we split it because the album Million of Cradle of Fields, I was then about 10 years old, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 9 or 10. Yeah, I was in the fifth form. It was absolutely fucking mind-blowing, and after a couple of months, everyone in my school knew about Cradle of Fields because I was so fucking impressed by symphonic black metal. And in terms of starting to play guitar, I remember that my first metal show was in 2005 when I was 12. We together went to Judas Priest concert, and I heard for the first time Re from Electric Eye, and I decided, yeah, I want to play guitar.
Hell yeah, man, that's awesome, dude. You know, and that's cool that you mention all that. You know, because there's a lot of people out there that they try to talk shit about the new metal stuff and stuff like that. But like, I'm an older guy, like I'm 45, man. So when I first started getting into it, it was, my first record was Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, but I've been always a huge supporter of metal all throughout the different generations, and I've always been trying to, get into the different things that come out as they come out, but it's all important. I mean, it's very important no matter what the style is, if it gets people into the fucking sound and gets them into doing this kind of thing, that's fucking cool. And, look at what it did with you guys, man. It brought you here and you're doing this, and this is fucking badass, man.
Funny story about generations. I remember in high school, an advance of metalcore, deathcore, like all bands like Suicide Silence, Despise Tycoon, like As They Dying. Also, I was very impressed by hard metalcore, not post-hardcore. Some bands like As They Dying, especially last albums. And I remember a conversation with old metalheads like you, say, dude, this is shit. And me, like your older generation, you don't understand, like, this is like new way of metal, and you cannot stay in 90s and listen to Number of the Beast, for example, for the whole of your life.
Yeah.
So then in 10 years, for example, when I listen to modern metal, I say absolutely the same, dude, this is shit. And they say, no, fuck, you don't understand, this is a new way of metal. And I answered, now I understand. Actually, this is a problem of generation.
Yeah, man. All these people, I guess, well, they call them gatekeepers, like trying to keep people out and trying to say this and that. Like, it doesn't make any sense, man. Fucking, if people want to get into heavy music, let them get into it however they need to get into it. The whole point is getting into it and being able to bring something new. And, it's just, I think it's all cool, man. Like there's cool stuff in all the different generations and genres of metal and hard rock. I mean, I listen to everything.
I think that
That's true.
Yes. You get into heavy music totally for 100%, or you don't get it at all. I think so.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, for people out there that maybe don't know, like, what's it like there in where you guys are from? What's the local metal community there like?
It's totally underground. No heavy metal now in Russia is really very underground music. There is a lot of shows, fests, but they are only in small venues, and of course there is no coverage of such type of music on TV or radio.
Yeah, it's totally underground. So it was always very interesting that, for example, when I go to any small city, like small in comparison to Moscow, and you can see that like not like super popular band, especially like 10 or 12 years ago, gathered more people than like a rather famous band in Moscow. I remember, for example, that where was it? Somewhere in Italy. I was in a show, and like local band gathered more people than Trivium in Moscow when they were very popular at that time.
They're still very popular.
Yeah, they're still very popular. They already were very popular at that time.
You know, metal was popular in Russia in the 90s after the fall of the Iron Curtain, but then popularity of heavy metal has decreased.
Yeah, there was that famous Denver Fest with Pantera, AC/DC. If I remember, the numbers were crazy. Hundreds of thousands of people.
Metallica.
Yeah, maybe I heard about it, yeah.
Yeah, that fucking the Moscow fucking festival, man. That had it was Pantera, AC/DC, Metallica. Fucking, it was a bunch of bands, man. I watched the video, and that shit looked insane, man. There were so many fucking people there. It was just crazy.
As far as I know, Metallica still remember this concert and say that it was one of the best shows they ever played.
Yeah, hell yeah. I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, you watch the video and you see it just looks like an ocean of people, just bodies, just as far as you can see. Millions of people, man. Crazy.
Yeah,
Now I have some
I was not even born at that time.
rap shows.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said that now I have so many people on hip hop concerts.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I mean, when you talk about the underground too, like, I totally understand that, man. Like, where I'm at right now, even though I'm in the U.S., I'm actually in a very small state that is very, very underground, and they're still. I mean, we just put on a festival last year, and they're still protesting about that. Like, they don't even want heavy metal around here. It's crazy. It's just, yeah, it's weird, man.
Which state?
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's so many metalheads here. We had 1,200 people show up at the festival, and it was crazy. It was awesome. But there's a lot of fans here. But at the same time, there's so much pushback from the local government and agencies and whatnot, and they don't want to have it. And it's just it's a constant battle, man. So a lot of it stays underground, but we keep on doing it, man. You got to.
You have to.
Hell yeah, no choice, man.
And they say that heavy metal is the music of the devil and something like that.
Yes, yeah, dude. Yeah, they're fucking freaking out, man. Fucking throwing Bibles at people and shit, man. It's fucking nuts, dude.
But we all know that God listens to Slayer.
Yeah.
What the hell ever happened to Slayer, man? Why did they fucking stop, dude? Ever since they stopped, the whole world went to shit, man. We had fucking COVID. We had fucking all this other shit. It's all fucking Slayer's fault, right? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I think we should make a petition to and all our metalheads, please. Slayer reunion to stop COVID.
I think Slayer needs to come back, man. What do you guys think?
I think they will come back in.
You think they will? I don't know, man. They might. I mean, who knows? Like Motley Crue said they were never going to tour again, and then they did. So, who knows, man?
Yeah, the fifth last tour of Scorpions, as usual.
Yes.
They will. Yeah.
How much less tours of Scorpions have you seen? Yeah. 5 or 6.
Yeah, Scorpions just put out a brand new record last year too, and it was really good, man.
I was thinking about it a couple of days ago. For example, if you open Spotify and you open the page of Slayer and Metallica, you'll still see that the best songs were written back in the 80s, and it means that band after that released 10 albums, 12 albums, and still they cannot do anything better than they did 40 years ago. And I think as a musician, you're maybe really just understanding that you've been trying to produce any song that will become more popular, and especially now, with all the sources, marketing, all the stuff, it's way easier. But people still stick to old stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think the real exception is maybe Pantera, because I think almost nobody listens to the glam albums from the 80s.
Yeah, I think it makes a huge statement, the fact that there's so many bands out there right now that are doing the old school sound and trying to cling on to the old, the 80s style of metal and trying to bring that back, and they're doing it. And, people are really, they're very welcoming to it. So it's, I don't know, man. But yeah.
Maybe metal has made the most evolution during the 80s. It was a golden age of metal. Because if you compare what was the heaviest band in the, for example, year 81 and in the year 89, you will see the huge difference.
Hell yeah.
There was nothing like that in the 90s or after that.
So shall we all agree on that we should make metal great again?
Yeah.
What's the heaviest song you've ever heard, man? In your opinion?
Heaviest song.
Yeah, the heaviest fucking riff, the heaviest song that you can think of, like in your mind. What comes to your mind when you think of like what's the heaviest ever?
Interesting question. Let me think.
This question is heavy. Yep. I think stuff like Brain Drill is really heavy.
Yeah.
And of course, especially for people who have never heard about extreme metal, I think it's totally mind blowing for newcomers, and
Yeah,
not for
usually
newcomers.
when you want to frighten someone by playing the heaviest music you can ever imagine, usually I play Brain Drill and people already get brain drilled.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I know there's many different ones that you can pick from, but like if I had to pick one, I think I would go with probably Skull Crusher from Overkill, man. To me that's one of the heaviest fucking songs.
Really?
Yeah. Just that guitar riff, man. Fucking is just it's ridiculous. But I don't know.
We'll listen to it after the show.
I could name off a bunch of Pantera songs also, though. I don't know.
Yes, Pantera sounds heavy even now. Yes, agree.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
You mean about our music, our plan, or what?
Yes. Do you guys have any tour dates coming up? Do you have? Is there a website where you want people to go to check you guys out or anything like that?
Unfortunately, we are. Yeah, Alexei, please, yes.
I would say that just please listen to our album that we released in August and listen to our page on Facebook or Bandcamp, Spotify, or all of the streaming sources. And at the same time, if you liked it, don't hesitate just to write on Instagram and listen to it. It's cool stuff. It's also very important and actually keeps us producing more and more music because this is a sign of appreciation, and for any musician it's very important.
Yes, we really appreciate it, and unfortunately now we're not able to make any tours and shows, but we really want to
One
play
day in the future.
venues. Yes, in the future, in many cities, many countries, we have our listeners all around the world, and we will be really glad to come to their cities, towns, and do crazy stuff there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, if you guys ever come to fucking the United States of America, dude, hit me up and we'll fucking get you guys on stage, man.
Yes, I'll be in the US in March, but without the band. So probably if I will be near Tennessee, I will message you.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. All right. Well, before I let you guys go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
It's a station one.
Just say something like, "This is Humaniac, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
So what's up, guys? Hello, this is Humaniac. You listen to Metal Devastation Radio and keep supporting metal all over the world.
Fuck yeah. Awesome, dude. Awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for taking the time to talk to us, man. I know it's early as fuck over there, and we really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this.
Thank you, too. It was really interesting, and we really also appreciate it. It was cool.
Absolutely,
Thanks.
Man.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always interesting and always very pleasant to speak with metalheads from different country, and especially about your music.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna blast some more Humaniac for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy. All right?
Yes,
yes,
right.
Of course.
All right, man. We'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
See you.
See you.
Cheers.
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 There you have it, guys. Humaniac live on the Zach Moonshine show with Metal Devastation motherfucking radio, man. Live from fucking Russia, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Crank this motherfucking shit up loud as a fuck. Put your speakers in your fucking windows. Put them in your front lawns. Put them everywhere, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, seriously, man. Don't just sit there and fucking stare at the computer screen. Reach out and grab the fucking volume knob and crank that motherfucker all the fucking way up, dude. Loud.